So, two of the most basic questions I see a lot and hear a lot, and people ask me is how much do I need to have saved for retirement, and how long will it last me when I retire? And I wish it was as easy as just this, but it can be easy. Let's just say it that way. And let me tell you my simple formula to figure this out. And I start with the very basics. So some stats you need to be aware of. The experts estimate that you need to have 10 times your yearly income saved for retirement by the time you hit 65. So if you make $50,000 a year, you need to have $500K saved by the time you're ready to retire at 65. Now, whether you have that or not is kind of irrelevant because that's just a guideline number. Because at the same time, obviously, if you make more, you would have more. If you make less, you would have less. It still depends on how good a saver you are, how early you start, and how committed you are to saving for your retirement. The next piece of the puzzle is you need to know what I call your minimum essential income needs to be. And that's based on what is your budget need to be based on your cost of living, your utilities, your food budgets, your transportation budget, your housing budget. Those are the essentials we all need to have. Roof over our head, food on the table, a way to get around if needed, and medical. Finding those numbers can be tricky, but you have control over those. So if you're in an area that's expensive to live in, there's options to move to make that money go farther. West Virginia is the lowest state to live in retirement. And minimal investment and saved income will last forever there. So it's got a lot to do with your location, but it has also something you can control. So you can always move and find a way to make that happen, even if that means selling what you have and renting. You don't have to own property in retirement. A lot of people think they got to own their property. I have to keep my house. You don't, unless it's paid for and you don't want to incur a different expense. So that being the rule, what's that number look like? Is it $3,500 a month? Is it $5,000 a month? Once you know what your budget has to be to cover your essentials, then you look at what are my income sources? Am I relying on just Social Security, or do I have a pension? Can I rely on Social Security? We all know that that's up in the air, so keep that in mind. And then from that number and those income sources, you break down what do I need now, what's left that I have to cover with my retirement investment accounts. Okay, so I'm gonna go with 5,000 because that's an easy number to work with. That's the number I work with. Okay, that's what I base my things on is 5,000 a month. That covers my essentials plus, just a little bit plus. So if I get, for instance, $2,500 from Social Security, I need to cover $2,500 of my essential income with my investment accounts. How does that work out to be? Well, with the rule of 1,000, that means you need to have $240,000 for every $1,000 a month you want in retirement. That's based on a 5% withdrawal and a 5% return. So basically it's a wash, and that money then therefore would last forever. So with my number of 5,000, I've got 2,500 coming from social. I need 2,500, 240 times 2.5, right? So I need 480 would cover the first 2,000, another 120. So I need 600 grand in my retirement accounts to cover my $5,000 minimums. That's kind of the basics of doing the math for this stuff. There's all kinds of different withdrawal strategies and all kinds of income strategies. And I will say it's like when people come to you, and I have people I've worked with helping them with their diet and exercise. Everybody wants the minimum effective dose. That means what's the least I have to do to accomplish my goal? Because I don't want to have to overdo it, right? Whether it's with exercise, diet, saving, right? Spending. I don't want to have to save my entire income, my whole life, just so I can die with money. Agree. Okay, so find out what that minimum essential income is and find your way around it. So I'm shaking my arms, are tired from my workout. Anyway, that's all I got today. The math can be easy, Just break it down to its simplest terms and don't overcomplicate it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.